York, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. So we have October baseball today in 4 different cities, and the one that you care most about, if you're within the sound of my voice, is the game that will be getting played tonight at Yankee Stadium starting at 6 o'clock. So that's going to be our jumping off point. Yankees lose to the Red Sox 3-1. They're 1 game away from their season being over. And that would be very quick, very disheartening. And when you want to talk about failures, you know, when you lose the World Series, they say it's a failure. I laugh at that. It's a disappointment. If you lose in a wild card and you have a $320 million payroll, that's a failure. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about last night. And we start with the anatomy of an opinion. We'll go that route. And by that I mean, as I walked into the studio at Yes last night, before I heard the interviews and before anybody even came to the podium, my opinion was I understood what Aaron Boone did. That's the way he has managed. He protects his pitchers, and I would think that at that point, at 102 pitches, Fried was probably done, where he had given them all that he could give them, all high-pressure pitches. He pitched beautifully over 6 innings. And I realized that they were going to keep him in to face Jarren Duran, which is what they did. And he gets Duran for the first out of the 7th inning. And I had people that I respect, when that was happening in real time, texting me while I was at the studio and saying, what is he doing? I'm saying he's doing what he does. He's doing the way the pitchers are trained to be used. This is the cutoff point. 100 pitches is the cutoff point. Anything more than that is going to be a little bit of a gamble. So as I'm walking into the studio, before the cameras go on, before the show begins, that was going to be my take. And then I heard Aaron Boone at the podium say that Fried was good to go. He just felt that that was the time to go to Luke Weaver, who I keep calling Jeff. I don't know why. That was the time to go to Luke Weaver. And that's when you lost me. Because that, to me, is proof positive that that move was preordained on the script before the game. Now, let's not get into the same old cacophonous argument that we always do. Who writes the script? I think everybody gets together and goes over, this is the best time, this is the best lane in that lineup to bring in Luke Weaver. Then after that, we're going to bring in Devin Williams to face this lane. And after that, we'll bring in Bednar, no matter what the lane is. Okay? Great. But here's my point. You got to have some feel to the game. So he gets Jarren Duran on the ground ball to Goldschmidt. Now, he does have to run hard to first base to beat Jarren Duran for the first out. But let's break down exactly what we're looking at here. The next batter is the number 8 batter in the lineup. The Yankees are at 1-0 at this point, right? And you got the 8 and 9 batters in the lineup coming up for the Red Sox. 8 and 9 batters. So Ceddanne Rafaela all year hit .249. And Nick Sogard, the second baseman, the number 9 batter, hit .260. So they're not really, suffocating threats. They're dangerous hitters because Rafaela did have 16 home runs. Nick Sogard did not hit a home run. 102 pitches is not the end of the world. And it's not as if you are pulling your ace. This is not Will Warren, all due respect to Will. It's not Luis Heel. It's not Cam Schlittler. This is the guy that you gave the biggest contract, free agent contract ever to a left-handed pitcher. Why? Because you believe in him. Because he's great. He finished the season pitching as well as any pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. All of Major League Baseball. But you had the hots at that point because you said the bottom of the order is the lane for Weaver. It's not the right move, especially when you find out later that Fried said, I was good to go. I told him I can go as long as you need me to go. So after the 6th inning, Boone told him, can you give me one more batter? And Fried essentially said, I can give you whatever you need. Now, some blame, you're going to be surprised I say this, some blame has to go to Max Fried here. Because at that point, you say to Boone, I want the ball. Let me get through the 7th inning. Don't be passive and say, I can do whatever you need me to do. No. Do what Mike Messina did that time that Joe Torre came out of the dugout and was going to take him out. And Mike Messina dramatically waved him away, angrily waved him away. And Joe said, oh, okay, and just went back into the dugout. Sometimes you have to say, I want the ball. This is my game. This is my game. But because it was time for the Luke Weaver lane, you take out your starter who you signed to an 8-year contract, who pitched as well as anybody in baseball all year, who's going to be in the top 5 in the Cy Young. This is his game. These are the type of games that you pay aces for. And if you need an example, go to the other side. What did Garrett Crochet do? He didn't want to come out. He told Alex Cora the day before, you're going to have to make one phone call. Of course, well, I'll probably have to make 2 to the bullpen they were talking about. No, 1. Me to Chapman. That's it. He wasn't going to let him take him out until the 8th inning. But Max Fried is that sort of guy. He's soft-spoken. And all I'm saying, and you guys know if you've listened to the show for 23, 24 years, I am not against Aaron Boone. And I assure you that the whole lane of when to bring in people was established before the game. I've told you this for years. There's a lot of scripting involved. And then Boone said after the game, well, it was kind of a tough 5th and 6th inning. Every inning is tough in the postseason. You got to work hard every single inning. It was 102 pitches, not 122. He needed to get 2 more outs from the 8th and 9th hitters. So I wrote down these stats. I don't understand why the lane with Weaver began with Rafaela. You know why? Rafaela was 2 for 6 lifetime against Weaver, 2 home runs. You know what Rafaela was against Fried? 2 for 12, 2 singles. You mean to tell me that Max Fried could not have gotten Ceddanne Rafaela out? I mean, are you kidding me? And he couldn't get Sogard out. You weren't pulling Max Fried to bring in Mariano Rivera. And this is not a knock on Weaver. And everybody's saying, well, the Yankee bullpen really pitched very well in the last couple of weeks of the season. And they did. But do you know who they played in the last couple of weeks of the season? Should I go over it? They played the Twins. They played the Orioles. They played the White Sox. And then they played the Orioles again. They weren't playing playoff teams. They were playing the dregs of Major League Baseball. So, of course, they're going to pitch better. But you know, everybody within the sound of my voice, the one thing that you worried about all season as the Yankees would go to the postseason was the bullpen. It was not locked down. There was no sure thing out there. The closest thing to a sure thing was Bednar. Every time you brought in Weaver this year, you didn't have the same feeling as you did last year. Every time you bring in Devin Williams, you don't have that, oh, this is a sure thing. No. Every time you bring in Fernando Cruz, you worry about him walking people. So to get to be in such a hot and heavy feeling to get to the bullpen, I don't get it. Max Fried was pitching great. Great. So I believe that Aaron did not allow the game to dictate. He allowed the plan of the game to dictate. All right, this is the lane for Weaver. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. So let's say taking out Fried in that spot, I feel, was a massive mistake. Now, who knows? You keep him in, Rafaela hits a home run, and we're having a different discussion. Why'd they push the envelope? That's why managing a major league team, the toughest thing they have to deal with, is the bullpen. Because you might make a move that is the right move, and I'm doing air quotes right now if you're not watching on the YouTube page, but the person doesn't actually execute his end of the bargain. And that's what happened with Luke Weaver. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to walk Cezanne Rafaela. You go ahead 0-2 on him, and then you end up walking him. It's almost impossible. Jack Curry gave a stat in the postgame yesterday that when he's down 0-2 in the count, his on-base percentage is under 200. He walked him. Then Sogard gets a double, a hustle double, because the Red Sox know that Aaron Judge is playing through pain and his arm is not what it would be when he was completely healthy, and their game plan was to take the extra base on him. And that's exactly what Sogard did. And then when you look at the miles per hour on Aaron Judge's throw, it was 73 miles an hour. And it's usually, when he's right, about 90. 87 to 90. And I'm not knocking Aaron Judge at all. I laugh when people go, well, he lollygagged on it. He didn't lollygag on it. He's playing through pain. There's a lot of people that wouldn't even play. The Yankees have no other option. You have to play him in right field because Stanton can't do the job defensively with his body. So second and third now, one out. The lane that you so excitedly couldn't wait to get to, and then they bring up Yoshida as a pinch hitter. And Weaver makes a terrible mistake, a fastball right over the plate. He jumps on the first pitch. Boom, 2-run single. That's the game. That's the game right there. And then on the other side, Cora stays with Crochet. And his back end of his bullpen is more reliable than the Yankee back end of the bullpen. And he stayed with Crochet until 2 outs in the 8th inning, and then he asked Chapman to get a 4-out save. Now, I've been saying this over and over again. Chapman had the best year of his career, but he's gettable. And the Yankees almost got him. They loaded the bases, nobody out, and they couldn't get the job done. Strikeout of Stanton. Fly baller right by Chisholm. Strikeout of Grisham. Grisham, by the way, had a great game. 4 strikeouts in the game. And his strikeout ended the ball game with the bases loaded. The Yankees lose 3-1. Now, you might say, well, it's just one game. It's more than just one game. You're in a best-of-3 situation. You lose one more, your season is over. Lifting Max Fried was a mistake. It would not have been a mistake if he was tired. And please, before anybody with the Yankees or even Aaron texts me and said, well, you don't know what went on behind. Well, all I could do is comment on what you people say publicly. That's all I can opine on. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I don't know what secret conversations that were had. All I know is that Aaron Boone said Fried was fine. We just felt this was the lane for Weaver. And all I know is what Fried said. I was good to go. I could have given them whatever they need. That's what I'm opining on. I don't know what went on behind closed doors. I don't know if Fried took you down into the tunnel and said, I can give you Duran and that's it. He didn't say it. Neither did Boone. So that's what I'm opining on. There's nothing else I can opine on. If you want to have your secret internal scene conversations and we're not privy to it, then we're gonna give opinions on what we do know, what's public. And what's public is you made a mistake. You do not take out your lead guy, your ace, the guy you're paying close to $30 million a year to. You do not do it. This is why you get a guy like that. And you can't say to me, well, the Yankees are going to win the World Series. He's going to have to pitch 7 times. I don't care. They're not going to get to the World Series if they lose this series. You figure it out. So today, Cora might not have a fully ready Chapman after he threw an inning in a third. But so what? You had to deal with yesterday. You had to win that game. And they did. And now the Yankees have a must-win tonight, and this is a mathematical, literal must-win. Either you win tonight or your season is over. So you had the best record tied with the Blue Jays in the American League, and your season could be over in 2 postseason games. It's unacceptable. So there's double pressure tonight. There's more pressure on the Yankees because Rodon has to pitch the way he pitched all season, and the Yankees have to get to Brian Bayo. But the Red Sox are not without pressure because the Red Sox have to win tonight because if they don't have a starter for tomorrow while the Yankees have an established starter in Cam Schlittler. Yes, he's a kid, but you know what? He had an under 3 ERA. And the Red Sox don't have a starter because Lucas Giolito is not even on the roster because of an elbow problem. They will probably have to go with a bullpen game. So you know the Red Sox want to end it tonight. And there's a lot of things, everybody, that you could question about that game. The starting lineup. This is the thing that bothered me even before the Fried decision. I understand not playing McMahon. McMahon is an offensive negative right now, and especially against a lefty like Crochet. So you take your chances and you put Caballero at third base, who was 0 for 3, by the way. But you're going to bench Jazz Chisholm? Are you going to bench a 30-30 player? How many 30-30 players in the history of baseball have been benched because of a matchup? How many? Does it make any sense? And did you see the interview that we had on the postgame show with Jazz Chisholm? He was miserable after the game. He wouldn't even turn and face the camera. He was facing inside of his locker because he didn't want to say the wrong thing. He's not a platoon player. And also he's a guy that runs on emotion. Why are you unplugging him? You can't trust him to reach against Garrett Crochet? And I know that Rosario was 6 for 9 against Crochet, and that's why you wanted him in the lineup. If you need it and you had to have Rosario in the lineup, then you know what? Play him at third base, where he's not nearly as good as Caballero and certainly not as good as McMahon, but at least you get his bat in the lineup, and you so desperately want to do that. You do not bench Jazz Chisholm. And then to make matters worse, you're leading 1-0, and then you bring in Jazz Chisholm for defense. Well, the defense didn't matter when you made the decision to play Rosario. All of a sudden, you had to have him in a 1-0 game. And you know what that meant? He was going to face Aroldis Chapman, another deadly left-handed pitcher. And that's exactly what happened with bases loaded and 1 out. You didn't have Rosario, who has good numbers against Chapman, up there. You have Jazz Chisholm. So Jazz Chisholm wasn't good enough to play against Crochet, but he's good enough to play against Aroldis Chapman. Make that make sense. If you didn't care about the defense for the first 7 innings of the game because you wanted to get that bat in the lineup, doesn't it make sense to keep him in for another inning so that he could come up in the 9th? Because you knew that the 9th inning was going to be pitched by Chapman or Crochet. That was a major mistake. And I understand why they didn't start Rice. I get it. I do. And Rice has been one of their best hitters. Goldschmidt's a great hitter against lefties, and he got 2 hits in the game, so there's no argument there. But know this one thing. What you did by benching Chisholm and Rice, you benched 57 home runs. You benched 57 home runs. All of a sudden, we're becoming Casey Stengel where everything is a platoon. I thought those right-handed batters were there to come off the bench late in the game against a tough left-handed reliever. Because if you're going to bench everybody that didn't have good numbers against Crochet, you couldn't field the starting lineup. But I did understand not starting Rice. Because obviously, the reason you don't start Rice behind the plate is that Fried didn't feel comfortable with him. You have to have the pitcher feel comfortable, and Wells called a great game. But not starting Chisholm, you can't convince me that's a good idea. And again, I don't want to hear from somebody in a surreptitious text, well, he's still not 100% after getting hit on the arm. Well, you know what? Then say it publicly. And unless you say it publicly, this is what we give the opinion on. You benched a healthy player who was 31 home runs, 31 stolen bases. You benched that guy. And a guy who his whole game is predicated on emotion, who loves the big stage, who lives for this, and you benched him. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So the big dramatic decisions that you made resulted in 0 for 6. 0 for 6. And if you really wanted to bench everybody that couldn't hit Crochet, why didn't you bench Grisham? Grisham's numbers against left-handers are dreadful. Now, you could say, well, we have nobody to put out there because Jason Dominguez can't hit right-handed. Oh, that's a decent argument. But again, we're benching everybody who couldn't hit Crochet. Yesterday, Grisham didn't have a chance. That was a big loss, man. That was a big loss. There's no other way to put it. You got to win games like that. This isn't a best of 7 where you could absorb a loss like that. The move away from Fried, to me, reeked of bringing in Nestor Cortez last year. And I told you then that was a before-the-game plan. Oh, this is the lane for Nestor. Not for Tim Hill, for Nestor. Let's bring in a guy who had not pitched in 2 months in the World Series in Game 1. Didn't make sense then, doesn't make sense all these months later. And then you bring in Weaver, who has not been close to the pitcher that he was last year. And I love Luke Weaver. Tough-minded, great stuff, but he has not been that guy. And that's the guy you couldn't wait to take Max Fried out so he could face his lane. You got to stop with the lanes. You know when you go to the lane? When your starter is done. Then you pick the right guy for the part of the lineup that's coming out. But don't force it. I understand picking lanes that pitchers are going to be successful in. I understand it. But Cora couldn't wait for you to bring in Weaver so he could counteract with Yoshida. He couldn't wait. And Weaver's not the same guy that he was last year. So what was the intensity to get to him when you had a guy who was dealing, who hadn't pitched like that in the postseason since Game 6 of the 2021 World Series, where they helped clinch the World Series for the Braves against the Astros? The guy was dealing. This is the reason you get a Max Fried. And you decide to pull him with 1 out in the 7th inning. He's at 102 pitches. So what? So what? Do you realize that Garrett Crochet threw more pitches than he's ever thrown in his entire career? And did they blink? Did they worry about it? I thought that Cora had a great answer in the postseason, or in the postgame. You know what he said? We take care of pitchers during the season so that we could do this during the postseason. We take him out after 85 pitches when he faced the Mets so that we have enough so he could give us everything he has in the postseason. You protect players in the season so that you can go extra with them in the postseason. Max Fried had to be pulled at 102 pitches after 1 out when you're facing the bottom of the order. It's not as if you're facing Bregman. You're facing Ceddanne Rafaela and you're facing Sogard. You couldn't wait to bring in Weaver for that? You don't think that Max Fried could have gotten those 2 guys out and we'd be having a completely different conversation today? If he gets through the 7th inning, then you bring in Devin Williams and then you bring in Bednar. That's what you do. The lane nonsense, well, that's what we had planned for Weaver. That's where we felt he fit best. He fit better than Fried? And I love, well, you know, he had a rough 5th and 6th inning. So what? So postseason baseball is about how rough was his 6th inning? He worked Narvaez, and it was a long at bat. And that's what got him up to 102 pitches. And then he got eaten to ground into a 4-4-3 double play. Oh, the 5th inning was tough. 2 outs. He walks Refsnyder, infield single by Story, and he gets Bregman to ground to 3rd. How tough was it? You're not going to have easy innings in the postseason. You don't throw perfect games in the postseason unless you're Don Larson. Every inning's going to be tough. Every at-bat is tough. Every pitch is high intensity. You mean to tell me Max Fried couldn't go over 102 pitches, that you just had to go to Weaver? It didn't work out. And the winners write the history books. So the Red Sox could sit and gloat that they pushed their starter way beyond any place he's ever been. Max Fried had gone to 112 pitches this year in a regular season game. And one more time, I don't want to belabor the point. You weren't bringing in Mariano Rivera. You know how much easier life was for Joe Torre and then Joe Girardi? When you went to Rivera, there was no second guessing because it was Mariano Rivera. But when you're going to Weaver, there is going to be second guessing, especially if he doesn't do his job. That's the anatomy of an opinion. I went into the studio thinking I was going to defend Boone, and then I listened to Boone and I listened to Fried, and I said, unacceptable. You can't manage that way in a postseason series. Here's the way I would put it if I was sitting in front of Aaron Boone right now. Your life is on the line. Your life is on the line. In order for you to live another day, you could depend on Max Fried with 102 pitches or bring in Luke Weaver, who struggled all year. What are you going to do? Let's look at it that way. Let's forget about the script that we've made up before the game. Your life's on the line. You either live or die with your decision. You staying with Fried or you bringing in Weaver? I think if you're honest, you're staying with Max Fried. I'm going to have Max Fried pitch for my life, not Luke Weaver. Not 2025 Luke Weaver. We'll come back, hear some of your phone calls. I'm sure this is going to be fun. The K Show, we go till 3 right here on 880 ESPN.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. The Yankees bullpen and lack of hitting spoiled a great Max Fried start. They now face elimination tonight against the hated Red Sox. How confident are you they can force a Game 3?
Tonight was a great baseball game that, we just couldn't get that final punch in. So we'll be ready to go, and I expect us to come out and get one tomorrow.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back. I'm injury attorney John Ryan D'Agostino, nicknamed The Closer, continuing D'Agostino and Associates' legacy of helping the injured for over 35 years. My father, John D'Agostino, built this injury firm to help accident victims.
This is John D'Agostino, and this is a family firm. For us, it's about doing what's right and making sure somebody pays for your pain. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-BITE BACK.
They call me The Closer because big or small, in court or out, I'm fighting to get the job done, to win, to get you every dollar you deserve.
D'Agostino and Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there and I'll be there for you. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Game Time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time, 6 p.m. Yankees host the Red Sox for Game 2 of their wild card series up in the Bronx. Play-by-play can be heard right here on ESPN New York and watched on ESPN. Pre-game show on Yes, an hour before the game, that's at 5, and then 90 minutes after the last pitch, we'll be on with the post-game show. 1 p.m., well, it's already underway. The Tigers in Cleveland play the Guardians on 1050 ESPN and ESPN TV. So 1-0 Guardians, top of the second inning. We'll keep you updated throughout the day on that one. 3 p.m., Padres are in Chicago to play the Cubs on 1050 ESPN and ABC 7. Padres down in that series 1-0. The Tigers are up in the series 1-0. And at 9 p.m., the Reds are in L.A. to play the Dodgers on 1050 ESPN and ESPN TV. So the Reds beat up on the Dodgers beat up on the Reds yesterday. And what we saw with the Dodgers, once you get to their bullpen, you got a chance, because the Reds made it a little closer. Reds don't have a chance against the Dodgers, but it does expose some weaknesses. The Dodger bullpen is in shambles. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. There's a couple of things about this game that jump out to me. The ninth inning. That run in the ninth inning that the Red Sox scored, gigantic. So Bednar comes in, he strikes out Sogard. Then he gets Yoshida to ground to second. That's 2 outs, nobody on. Trevor Story singles, then steals second base. Then you have first base open with 2 outs. Alex Bregman coming up to the plate. You have Tim Hill warming up, and on deck is Nathaniel Lowe. For some reason, you decide to pitch to Bregman, who has never had a season where he has not played in the postseason. Never. So, of course, he gets an RBI double that makes it 3-1. Then a bloop and a blast is out of the equation, and the Yankees don't score in the bottom of the ninth inning and lose 3-1. There's a lot of things you could do if you're just down by 1. So then you bring in a Tim Hill. And then Tim Hill gets low to fly out to center field. That was an odd choice. Now, that's a second guess because it didn't work out. But you got to look at the player. You got to look at Bregman and what he's done in big games in the past. So you'd rather have Bednar against Bregman than Hill against Lowe. Those are just a couple. I'm sure you guys have other ones you want to talk about. So let's get to you right now. Let's go to Andrew in Queens to start it off. Andrew.
Mike, what's going on? How's it going? Just want to say, first of all, I'm so glad that you're back on YouTube. Just consuming the show this way is much preferred. So good looks by the ESPN New York crew on that. So I was at the game last night, and the stadium was rocking. Everything's good. This Yankee team, organization, front office continues to shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over again. And it's because of the delicate geniuses in the front offices with their lanes and their decisions. Last night's lineup and the Max Fried thing all reeked of 2020 postseason with Davy Garcia starting the game for 1 inning pitched and then going to J-Hap to try to surprise the Rays. This was the Yankees trying to surprise the Red Sox by throwing out guys who they thought match up better than Garrett Crochet. But like you said, you could have benched everybody then because Garrett Crochet is having a phenomenal year. I don't blame Aaron Boone because I think when Brian Cashman was on your show a few years ago and you said, does Aaron Boone have the ability to make any moves he wants? And he said, yes, but it has to be the right ones. And that's why Aaron Boone, I believe, manages like he's always managing to keep his job because he's doing what the front office wants and he's doing the lanes, he's doing all this. I just want to see Aaron Boone manage one time with his decisions because you're telling me who is a lifer, a baseball family, that was his decision to take out his ace, his $29 million man in that position to bring in someone who is bad almost the entire season. That cannot be a logical baseball choice, and therefore I cannot blame Aaron Boone. But Brian Cashman and company has found a way to take the blame off of a manager and take the blame and put it on a mysterious person, the front office. And I get it that this is their logical way of doing things, but it has not resulted in a championship since 2009. And I get it. It may work great for the regular season. Props on having another year of being over 500. Props on making the wild card. But this analytical game the Yankees are playing, it does not work for the postseason. And
well,
I get it's a crapshoot, but it doesn't work.
Come out and said, I mean, Brian has said the postseason is a crapshoot, and it is. And you know why? Because they use the same formula they used during 162. Now, if you play the percentages over 162, you're going to end up winning. You're going to end up winning because the percentages do play out, but they might not play out in a short series. He said it. The only reason it's a crapshoot is because you're using the long-term percentages that do work out over long term, but not work out on a Tuesday, the last day of September. They might not work out then. Now, when I've talked to Aaron Boone, off the record, he said, I would make these same decisions. He says he truly believes in them. But yesterday, the Davy Garcia thing, when J-Hap was upset that he didn't start, that he had to come in the second inning, Yankees lost that series. Those are things that are decided before time collaboratively. So how much Boone had to say in the collaboration, I have no idea. He says he has a lot to say. And he also says that he goes off, quote-unquote, script a lot and goes by his gut a lot. But when you're talking lanes, right, those lanes are only established before the game. You're not coming up with those lanes in the middle of the game. Those lanes are decided before the game. And that's why I laugh when I see all of you on social media after the game blame with such vitriolic words that Aaron Boone has to go. If he goes, they're going to bring in somebody else who also follows the lanes. You think they're going to bring a Maverick in? You think they're going to bring in Bruce Bochy? You think they're going to bring in Joe Madden? No, they're going to bring in another guy who is in lockstep with their thought. Aaron Boone is in lockstep with what the front office believes. Now, you could say, well, Boone's wrong, but that's what the front office wants. And it's funny, you're saying, Andrew, that they've taken the blame off the manager. They haven't. They've made the manager the scapegoat for these scripts. And that's the price of doing business. You want to be the manager of the Yankees, You want to be the manager of an analytic team, you own the decisions. You don't point upstairs and go, the guy in cubicle 6 came up that we should start with Davy Garcia. No, you own it. So he's the one who's always going to get blamed, and he's the one who's always going to get criticized, and he has to wear it. That's the rules of engagement, everybody. Those are the rules of engagement in baseball in 2025. Dave Roberts works off a script for the Dodgers. Period. He does. The Red Sox have a script, but I truly believe that Cora does work off it more than others are allowed. But Dave Roberts has made very curious decisions in his career as the Dodger manager. All scripted. Remember he took out Blake Snell pitching a no-hitter? All scripted. Very few managers are gut managers. Terry Francona can manage by the gut. Dusty Baker managed by the gut. Buck Showalter did what he wanted to do. Now, he wanted the information, but he could deviate. That's why those managers are being phased out of the game. Because they're going to bring in young guys who have come up in baseball as baseball was transitioning to all numbers-related decisions. And those are the guys that are going to be your managers. Is it fair that they have to take the hit? Well, what's fair? Is it fair? They make a lot of money to take the hit. And as long as the Yankees don't fire Aaron Boone, that would tell you that he's not making wacky decisions, right? Because if he was making wacky off-the-cuff decisions, right, they would fire him. But he's not making wacky off-the-cuff decisions. He's making collaborative decisions that they have come up with together, and he's just executing them. And if it doesn't work, they'd be the biggest hypocrites in the world to fire him. He's doing what they've all decided was the right thing to do before the game. And it takes a lot of the heartbeat out of the game. I'll give you a story I tell you a lot, and I'm sorry if you've heard it before. One of the reasons Joe Torre was essentially pushed out as Yankee manager, because that was the transitioning to the analytics-based model. And he said, you can give me numbers that tell me I should bring in a relief pitcher at this time. And I get it. But do those numbers tell me that the relief pitcher who's replacing David Cone would kill a small farm animal like David Cone would to get an out? Do those numbers say that? He said the game has a heartbeat. That's why Joe Torre was pushed out. And Joe Girardi, who is about as analytic a person as you'd ever want to see. I see the way he prepares for a broadcast. Numbers. But he would question some of the things that came from upstairs. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this fielding chart. I don't think that this is where they should be. I have other ideas. I have other numbers. They didn't like that. They think that their model works best. Aaron Boone is in lockstep with their model, so he believes it. So he's not off the hook, because if he really does truly believe it, then he's not off the hook either, but he's in lockstep with the organization, and as long as he is, well, how could his job be in jeopardy? And it shouldn't be. Because bringing in Weaver in that slot, that was decided before the game. If we're going to go to Weaver, this is where we feel comfortable he would be successful. So that spot came up, and the decision was, do we go to the spot where Weaver's comfortable? And now, Fried is over that magic 100 pitch mark. That was the decision right there. That decision was probably made yesterday, on Monday at some point, or maybe at noon on Tuesday. That's just the way it works. Nobody wants to hear it, but I'm telling you, and I'm not absolving anybody. I'm telling you what goes on internally. And it's not just with the Yankees, it's everybody. FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style. FanDuel has you covered. Visit FanDuel.com/K to download the FanDuel app today and get started. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready, we're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New York Army National Guard.
You know so much about who you are. But do you know what makes your body your body? With over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help you know the truth. Because you know you're made of grit, wit, and a good heart. But just how healthy is that heart? You know you're made up of all the places you've called home. You know you're made of your mom's sarcasm. And now you can find out if you have her thyroid too. You know you're made of college all-nighters and 30s early-nighters, but those still don't explain your sleep issues. You know that you're made up of good meals with even better conversation. But are you actually absorbing those nutrients? A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check the kickoff time first before showing up at the stadium.
What? The slot's full already?
Final score of today's game.
You said kickoff was at 3. It was last week.
That's not how it works, Bob. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans,
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team.
Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about Red Sox 3, Yankees 1, turning tonight, obviously, into a literal must-win for the New York Yankees. Let's go to the phones. Let's see what you're thinking. Let's go to Kaz in Syosset. Kaz.
Hi there, Michael. So my thought is, some people say it's a gamble to let Max Fried continue at 105 pitches.
102.
Well, 102, okay. I think it's a bigger gamble to find out if your middle reliever has it in a 1-0 game. You know what Max Fried has. He has a shutout. He worked out of everything. You don't know what you're getting with a middle reliever. Middle relievers have that reputation. Whenever they come in, I have this feeling like, well, let's see what they have today. Alex Cora didn't want to find out with his middle relievers. He trusted Crochet, pushed him more. It was a different kind of game. In a 1-0 game, you gotta trust your most dominant pitchers. You gotta let Fried go as far as he can, and the best scenario is tie him into the closer, Bednar. When you start bringing in multiple middle relievers, it's more of a gamble because all it takes is one of them to be off, and the first one was off, being Weaver, and the game was gone.
Well, I will tell you this. I mean, first of all, you're using incorrect nomenclature. He's not a middle reliever. He's an end-game reliever. He's a high-leverage guy. He closed, for the Yankees last year when they went to the World Series. Middle reliever to me is Paul Blackburn. Middle reliever to me is Ryan Yarbrough, who's not even on the roster. So, I mean, that's just me being picky. But I understand. And I've said all year, and I said this about the Mets too, it's a model to me that's not sustainable. The more innings you get out of your starter, the fewer relievers you have to use. The fewer relievers you have to use, you're taking less of a chance. So when a starter goes 5 innings, that means that you have to use 4 relief pitchers to get the final 12 outs. That means you're asking 4 pitchers to be on their game on that same day. I don't think that's sustainable. I just don't. And we showed with the Mets it wasn't. So if you're the Yankees, isn't it better to have 2 pitchers get 6 outs than to ask 3 pitchers to get 8 outs? And it turned out you also used Cruz because Weaver couldn't get an out, and then you used Hill, so you used 5. If Fried had been allowed to pitch the 7th inning, the whole 7th inning, the game just has a different feel to it. So you miss the lane for Weaver. So what? Use him tonight in that lane if need be. Use him tonight. But they had to get him in because that was the lane. Again, nobody asked him this. Maybe I'll text and ask him. How was Rafaela your lane when Rafaela was 2 for 6 with 2 home runs against Weaver? How's that your lane? Tom in East Rutherford. Tom.
Hey, Michael, how are you? You're the best out there. Woke up today absolutely gutted, man. I couldn't agree with the analytics guy at first, for the first caller. I mean, at what point do we give these guys uniforms and put them in the dugout? I mean, it's an absolute joke. But I have 2 things. First of all, Weaver, I think you undersold him a little bit. He was electric first month or so of the season, if you recall. Since the injury, I mean, I had to cut him to fantasy baseball. He's been that bad. And against a guy like Rafael, who will literally swing at the moon, I would even go Doval or Cruz. The guy, their swing and miss ratio is just much better than Weaver's. Also, my second point is this. I've been texting my uncles who are Red Sox fans, my dad, diehard Yankees fan. We keep on talking about lanes, like we're bowling. I think the best lane, and I'm curious your thoughts,
is
would have been to start Fried 2, game number 2. Start him game number 2. Despite what the Sharks say, we were not going to beat Garrett Crochet, even at home.
No, why? How could you have that defeatist attitude? Don't you want your best to be against his best? Fried did his job.
You know what, Michael, hear me out. If it was a one game, winner take all like it used to be, yes, I agree. You got to throw Fried, obviously. But I just think the lane sets up so much better when you could avoid Crochet versus Fried. Basically, use
so
your bullet.
You were willing to, Tom. You're basically willing to concede yesterday's game.
Not concede, not punt, because you don't know what you're going to get from Rodon. Maybe he goes out there and pitches a gem, and then you set yourself much better up against Game 2 versus Bello.
No, but I don't look at it that way. I don't think that you seed a game. You have to believe that you could get to Crochet. Anthony Volpe hit a home run off Crochet. They had a 1-0 lead in the 7th inning. It worked. Then your decisions backfired. This wasn't on wasting Fried. Fried did what he was supposed to do. He gave you 6 1/3 shutout innings. He was brilliant. He had all of his pitches working. And then you decided to get cute with lanes and bringing in Weaver, who has not been great all year, not close to what he was last year. Again, we had a couple of callers yesterday. You don't give up a game. What, you go into a game thinking there's no way we could beat Crochet? It's ridiculous. You put your best against their best, and your best did just as well as theirs did, but they wouldn't allow them to go as long as they allowed their best to go. That's not on Fried. That's on the Yankee front office and the Yankee coaches and manager. And one other thing, everybody keeps talking about the nameless faces in the front office. What I would do, just to make it fair, the people that come up with these lanes and stuff like that, they should answer questions. They should be brought to the podium. Why did you think this was the right lane? But I know that's what they're paying Boone for, to communicate that to the public. But it wasn't communicated to me satisfactory that you would make that move. It just wasn't. But I've had people tell me that for a long time. Bring the really smart people from the front office who have the benefit of anonymity. They can make their computer projections. They can make them. And if it doesn't work, they don't have the answer to it. Let them answer. Why did you think this was going to work? Why do you believe that the postseason is a crapshoot? Why? Why do you believe that? And if you believe it's a crapshoot, then don't you have to come up with a better program? Don't you have to come up with a better program? The postseason should not be a crapshoot. If you're information-based, come up with better information. Red Sox are heavily analytical. The Dodgers are heavily analytical. Heavily analytical. So I never accept it's a crapshoot. Well, that's not good enough. Then find a better way. Build a better boat. Design a better engine. Don't give me a crapshoot. If it's a crapshoot, then don't make it a crapshoot. There's 20, 30 people there with Ivy League degrees. I don't want a crapshoot. I want a sure thing, or as close to a sure thing as possible, because what works over 162 does not work in short series. It just doesn't. So what do they have to do tonight? We'll find out in just a moment when we come back right here on ESPN New York.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
This fall, don't sit on the sideline because of pain. If you're tired of waking up stiff, fighting neck, back, or joint pain, and missing out on the things you love, it's time to take action. Call Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain, New Jersey's top pain specialist. Dr. Shaw is the Ivy League trained, double board certified, and laser focused on one thing: getting you back in the game. Living pain-free, no surgery, no cuts, no downtime. Just precise image-guided treatments that deliver real results. Whether it's sciatica, nerve pain, migraine, or chronic joint pain, Dr. Shaw will personalize a non-surgical game plan just for you without pain medication. Same-day and next-day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. Most major insurances are accepted, so what are you waiting for? Don't let pain keep you out of the action this season. Visit Sandwell Pain to text, call, or book online. You'll wish you met Dr. Jay Shaw a lot sooner. Relief starts today, and victory over pain is closer than you think.
Put it in the box! This is your radio home for New York Mets baseball. 880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
D'Agostino & Associates is a legacy firm, and I'm proud to be a part of that legacy. I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and like my father, I fight to get justice for the injured.
The hustle and grit of these streets shaped me. I'm John D'Agostino, and from the concrete to the courtroom, I built this injury firm 35 years ago to get accident victims justice. So call my team first, 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
You want justice? Think Jenna D'Agostino. Think D'Agostino and Associates. Justice isn't just a word. For us, it's a way of life. It's having compassion for your struggle and getting you paid for your pain. Now that's justice. D'Agostino and Associates means being there for the injured.
Seriously injured? Call my team first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino and Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
D'Agostino Law Bite Back.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Mike Lupica will join us at 2:30. We'll get his unique perspective on what happened yesterday. All right, so the Yankees lost yesterday, and we have a lot of complaints about it, and we're moving Fried. I get all that, but the series is not over, and it's still winnable, although the odds are not in your favor. This season, when the Yankees lose the first game of a 3-game series, this is in the 2025 regular season, so you're not facing the best of the best. I mean, there's some series that you might lose to the White Sox or the Rockies the first game. The Yankees were 7-15 in those series. So they won 7 of the series after losing the first game of a 3-game set. So that's a win percentage of 318. 318. They've got a really outstanding starting pitcher going in Carlos Rodon, and he has to be really strong. And the Red Sox have Brian Bayo, who historically has done well against the Yankees, but the last time out, the Yankees did get to him, and he has not pitched well at all for the last month or so of the season. And that's the second best pitcher that the Red Sox have. Yankees, their second best pitcher is Carlos Rodon, who won 18 games. So there's pressure on the Yankees. They have to win tonight, otherwise the season's over. But I believe that there's some pressure on the Red Sox as well, because the Red Sox know they have to win tonight. Because if they don't win tonight, the Yankees do have a starter tomorrow. That's Cam Schlittler. I know he's a kid, but he's a kid who pitched very well, who sits at 99 miles an hour the entire game. Doesn't seem like he has a scared bone in his body. Seems like a flatline guy, never too up, never too down. His looks do not betray any kind of emotion. And the Red Sox, they're going to have to go with a bullpen game tomorrow. Now, you can look at the Red Sox and say, well, you know, the back end of their bullpen's really good. You know, Whitlock and Chapman. You'd be right. But how about the rest of the bullpen? The rest of the bullpen ain't all that. Do they have 9 innings that they're going to get out of the bullpen? 9 really good innings. Cora is a smart dude. He knows he wants to end it tonight. The Red Sox advantage in any postseason series, especially a short one, and it's one of the reasons why when people ask me, well, who would you want the Yankees to face? Well, I'd want them to face the Tigers. I know you got Skubal, but you don't have a team that's opportunistic like the Red Sox. And you don't have a bullpen like Chapman and Whitlock. So I would much rather face the Tigers because with the Red Sox, you've got Crochet. You've got a team that is beaten up on the Yankees this year. And then you've got Chapman to close it out. And you got Whitlock to lead to that. This year, the Red Sox have played the Yankees 14 times. They've won 10 of them. The Yankees score 3.7 runs per game, 3.71 runs per game against the Red Sox. Red Sox score 4.93, almost 5 runs a game against the Yanks. Yankees bat .225 against the Red Sox. Red Sox .257 against the Yankees. Yankees have out-homered the Red Sox 20-16. But the Red Sox outslugged the Yankees 431 to 390. The Yankees starting pitching ERA against the Red Sox 4.72. Red Sox 3.53. The relief pitching ERA against the Red Sox, the Yankees 4.56. The Red Sox against the Yankees 3.32. Both teams have made an equal number of errors, 11 to each team. The Yankees always used to dominate the Red Sox in the postseason. So the first 15 games they played them in the postseason, Yankees won 11 of them. But starting with Game 4 in 2004, it has turned. The last 10 games, the Yankees have won 1, the Red Sox have won 9. So there you have it. There's a lot on the line today, but there's a lot of fans out there that think it's over already. No, last night stunk. Last night, I think the wrong moves were made. You could not score at first and second in the first inning, nobody out. You couldn't score bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth inning, nobody out, which, by the way, is the only time that has happened in Major League Baseball postseason history. Bottom of the ninth inning, bases loaded, nobody out, and you do not score a run. And that, by the way, does speak volumes. Because everybody said, well, the Yankees don't get singles or anything like that. Oh, okay. They got singles in the first inning. They didn't score. They got 3 singles in the ninth inning. They didn't score. Because it's hard to get 4 or 5 hits against a top-flight pitcher. You need the home run thrown in there. And how did the Yankees score their run? Oh, yeah, a home run. And the guy that was pilloried all year, and earned a lot of it, Anthony Volpe got 2 of the Yankee hits. 2 of them. And I told you 2 months into September, you watch, Anthony Volpe's going to start every game at shortstop in the postseason. And that's going to be as long as the Yankees play. Even if they go to the World Series, it's not going to be Caballero. It's going to be Anthony Volpe in every single game. And I've also told you that last year he played well in the postseason, and after his 2 hits last night, he's hitting .308 in his time in the postseason. Slugging is good. OPS is good. Anthony Volpe, postseason Anthony Volpe, that's the guy the Yankees thought they'd be getting in the regular season for the last 3 years. So somebody has to figure out, why does he do that in the postseason and he doesn't do that in the regular season? What's changing with his approach? Let's go back to you, Joshua in Orlando.
Hello, Kay. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
All is well, man. All is well. All right. So I just want to point something out to all the Yankee fans. I'm a Yankee fan myself. Love my Yankees to death. But the main thing I think what we need to realize is it's not Boone. It's the hitting. It's always been the hitting in the playoffs. It's always been the clutch hitting. It's always been that. We get a couple of hits in the first. We get a couple of hits in the last inning, but we can never bring them in. Like, the whole run of bus needs to stop. I think the Cashman philosophy, like you said, it's good for the whole regular season, for the playoffs. We need to change that whole philosophy when it comes to the playoffs. We need to understand that. Clutch hitting, getting a man over, we need to do something about that.
Well, that's not going to happen, though. Joshua, that's a narrative that's not going to happen. People have to stop with that. That's not baseball anymore. Getting a runner over and bunt, that's not baseball. You win baseball games by hitting home runs. The Yankees have the right decision on that. That's the way you win baseball games. Tell me the team that plays small ball. I want to know the team that plays small ball, moving runners over. It doesn't exist anymore. Teams that hit the most home runs win the most games, and that includes the postseason. All due respect, you want them to change. No, it doesn't change. Every team is built to hit home runs. And the teams that don't hit home runs, the reason they don't is because home run hitters cost a lot of money. It's not a cost-effective way to win. So you do it out of necessity. Milwaukee Brewers do it out of necessity. Home run hitters cost a lot. Like Ralph Kiner used to say, home run hitters drive Cadillacs. The Dodgers, who's second team in baseball for home runs after the Yankees? The Dodgers. The Phillies hit home runs. Great teams hit home runs. And when you do say, Joshua, it's not on Boone, for the most part, I usually agree. Whoever made the decision, taking Max Fried out was on Boone or whoever made the decision or the collaborative decision that came about. That was a mistake. And that probably cost them the game. And I know, you don't score in the first, you don't score in the ninth, it's going to come back and bite you. But if everything was handled perfectly, where Fried hands off to Weaver, Fried hands off to Williams, and Williams hands off to Bednar, maybe we're sitting here talking about the Yankees winning the game 1-0. Howard in Boston. Howard.
Hey, Michael, how are you? Thanks so much for having me on.
You got it.
Hey, first, so I do have a point that I want to piggyback on the call you just had, but I do want to give you a scoop. I live in Needham, where Schlittler's dad is our police chief.
Okay.
And I literally saw him a half hour ago. He told me that his son cannot wait to get that ball tomorrow if he gets it. He's never lost in his entire, from Little League on up, has never lost a deciding game in his entire life.
Well, this kid, you could tell, Howard, he doesn't scare. I'm sure he's not frightened at all about if he has to pitch tomorrow.
Not at all. So that should give faith. Look, I do want to piggyback up on the construct of home run versus single ball, and I generally agree with you. But what the Yankees do not have is a guy that generally can come off the plate, off the bench, and just put a bat on a ball. You know, they have Caballero on that team for speed and defense, but they don't have a pinch hitter that you just know could put a bat on the ball. And I just wish they had that kind of guy on the bench they could pull up.
But Howard, they do. That guy is Rosario, especially against left-handed batters. Ben Rice coming up the bench, or left-handed pitchers. Ben Rice coming up the bench against righties is that guy. Paul Schmidt coming up the bench against lefties. He's not going to start today against Bayo, so if they bring in a left-hander, I disagree with you, Howard. They have a great bench right now. The problem was yesterday they decided to use the bench in the starting lineup. And I'll repeat over and over again, you do not bench a 31-31 player in Jazz Chisholm. Because I kept thinking, every left-handed batter, for the most part, except for Cody Bellinger, most left-handed batters do not hit as well against left-handed pitching than they do against right-handed pitching. Is there a world where the Yankees would ever bench Robinson Cano against a tough left? If the Yankees face Sandy Koufax, do you think Robinson Cano would not be in the starting lineup? Now, Jazz Chisholm is not Robinson Cano, but he's a pretty damn good player. I will never understand benching that guy yesterday. This is the part of the engine that makes the Yankees run. Emotion, enthusiasm, swag, whatever you want to call it. And that's the guy you decide to sit? That will never make sense to me. I hope that they didn't lose him. In terms of, will he be in the right mind space today? You saw him in the post-game interview yesterday. Did I look like a guy that was happy, that was able to reconcile what the Yankees did by benching him? And Boone told him in a text message, you do not bench a player like Jazz Chisholm. You don't. And how many managers in the history of baseball, how many, use a lineup in the first game of a postseason series that they'd never used before over the previous 162 games? That was an overreaction to a great pitcher on the mound, in my opinion. So the guys that you forced into the lineup, Rosario and Caballero, were combined 0 for 6. Go to my good friend Morty in Plainview. Morty.
Michael.
Hello.
How are you today, Michael?
Now, you do owe me a chicken parm, I think, because Joel Sherman did pick Judge.
I was about to tell you I want to make a public apology to Mr. Sherman. I never thought he would endorse Aaron Judge, and he did. And when I'm wrong, I say he's wrong. and you and your lovely wife are entitled to your favorite chicken parm on me.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about last night.
Okay.
It is unfathomable. It is inconceivable to understand the moves that this boob makes. You've cleared a lot of questions that I've had for a long time up with your comments earlier today. Okay, they've got a committee. This is how they run the Yankees, by committee now? There are so many little things that can be done, should be done, must be done in a short series that can make a difference that I can't even list them all in the time you'll give me. Why wasn't Dominguez running for Goldschmidt in the ninth inning? How about
Jack Curry brought that up.
One.
Jack Curry brought that up,
Yeah.
Morty. You're right. I was wondering that myself.
Okay, you're wondering yourself. So Judge comes up, gets a hit. Now maybe we got Dominguez on first and third. Maybe then he scores on Bellinger's single. Maybe a lot of things can happen. Do something that's a little aggressive, a little different, out of the box. I tell you that Boone is incompetent, inept, and he would be managing great in Colorado or Osaka, but not in the Bronx, New York anymore. He has lost the team. I've told you time and again, he has no feel for situational baseball, for instances that he has to manage not by instinct, not even by gut, but just by common sense, basic baseball. The committee says it's the seventh inning. You bring in Weaver. Fried pitched his heart out. He matched Crochet inning for inning. He's your ace. He's your stud. He's a 19-game winner. You're paying him $220 million a year. Now he's got 4 months to rest. Let him pitch. He deserved the right to pitch. He deserved the right to fail if he was indeed going to fail. Let him get through the seventh inning. What in God's good name was changed Boone's thinking? He comes in after 6 innings. He says, I'm good to go. I got gas in the tank. Boone says, good, go out for the seventh. He gets the first man out. Now, what changed between the time he walked out of the dugout, got the first man out, to send Boone out there to pull him?
Well, nothing changed.
What kind
because
of
Boone said,
that?
Boone told him when he said that I'm good. Boone said, okay, go out and get me Durant. That was the plan, Morty. That was the plan.
It's a lousy plan, okay? Not when
I
you
agree.
have your stud on. Not when you have your stud on the mound, and that guy deserves every single opportunity to fail. He doesn't understand an athlete's psyche. You did it last night on Yes. You understand where Chisholm is coming from. He's a guy who wants to win. He's not afraid to fail. He wants to get up there in a big spot and do what has to be done. He's got the stones to do it. So what do we have? We have a committee of guys who never put on a pair of spikes and a jockstrap making decisions in a 3-game series. Now, if Rodon goes out there tonight and controls his emotions, hopefully he won't walk the ballpark. Hopefully he won't give up 2 3-run homers, and we got a good shot. But it didn't have to come to this.
Yeah,
Give us have an opportunity to win, and Boone is absolutely out of the box when it comes to making good baseball decisions.
Well, one thing that I would disagree with you on that you said, and you said a lot of smart things, Morty, he hasn't lost the team. Team loves him. Team loves him. Team would run through a wall for him. And most importantly, Judge loves him. He has not lost the team. He just has not. That is not a true statement. And if you take a job at a certain company, whether it's a company that makes widgets or a company that makes AI or a baseball team, if the people that own the company or run the company hire you to do the job in a certain way, that's the way you have to do the job. So I do take exception when people call him a boob or whatever and use these derisive terms. He's a very smart guy. And he got this job and understands the rules of engagement. And the thing that doesn't completely exonerate him of blame, he has told me over and over and over again that he agrees 1,000% that this is the way the game should be played. But anybody that gets hired is going to be in that mindset. So you can't say that he doesn't know what he's doing, because if it's collaborative, right? If it's collaborative, then you have to understand it's collaborative. You can't go rogue. I've explained this all to you before. You do realize that when the lineup is being made up, Boone makes out a lineup. His bench coach, Brad Ausmus, makes a lineup. And then somebody who represents the analytic group brings a lineup there. So they compare the three lineups. Now, how they come up with the exact last one, if Boone has the most say, if the computer has the most say, I doubt that Brad Ausmus has the most say. He's the third on the totem pole, but they're using him maybe as a tiebreaker. You can't tell me that the guy who's bringing down the lineup that got spit out by the analytics people is going to be ignored. It's highly technical, and I know a lot of people, Morty is a man of a certain age, they don't want to hear it, but that's the way the game is played. And it's not just the New York Yankees, it's all around baseball. They take the Mets are run that way. The Mets are absolutely run that way. You don't spend all that money on guys that graduated from Harvard, MIT, Cornell, Princeton, to ignore them. You want them to parse the information and come up with the best way to win the game. It works a lot, especially during the full season. It doesn't work on a game-to-game basis. It's like if you play blackjack. The smart move is, if the dealer's showing 6 and you've got 12, you don't take the hit. You let him bust with the 10. That's over a long stretch. If you're sitting at the table for 6-7 hours, that's going to end up winning the day. But there are variables that happen in that deck that change it, where the guy flips over, the dealer flips over, and it wasn't a 10 underneath, it was a 5. Then he pulls the 10, and boom, you lost. So you did all the right moves, but in that short stretch of time, that one time, you lost. And that's why analytics don't work expertly in a short sample size. Over 162 games, they do. And that's why the Yankees always win their 90-plus games. They always make the playoffs. And against lesser teams like the Central Division teams last year, the Guardians and the Royals, you're going to win all the time. Against better teams, sometimes the variables come into play and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's kind of complicated. I think we all look at sports because we grew up with it. It's kind of simplistic. It's not. It's very detailed and complicated the way it's managed now. Saturday, October 4th at Sports Illustrated Stadium, the New York Red Bulls take on FC Cincinnati with kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. Start your matchup early on the Boulevard, you see what I did, at 4:30 p.m. Enjoy pregame activations, giveaways, and live performances. Then, at 5:45 p.m., catch the Red Bulls on the red carpet. Gates open at 6 p.m., where the first 10,000 fans get a reversible Red Bulls bucket hat. For your chance to win a family 4-pack, enter now through ESPN New York app. Just click the contest tile and submit your entry. Bring the crew, secure your seats at NewYorkRedBulls.com. Plan ahead and travel smart. The Harrison Path Station is closed Saturday, October 4th. That's this coming Saturday. Free shuttles, though, will run from Journal Square to the stadium. When we come back, Mike Lupica will join us right here on the show. We hope that you're watching us on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. We hope that you're listening on ESPN New York.
Wednesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. The Yankees bullpen and lack of hitting spoiled a great Max Fried start. They now face elimination tonight against the hated Red Sox. How confident are you they can force a Game 3?
Tonight was a great baseball game that, we just couldn't get that final punch in. So we'll be ready to go, and I expect us to come out and get one tomorrow.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet Sportsbook and Casino. Download it.
You know so much about who you are. But do you know what makes your body your body? With over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help you know the truth. Because you know you're made of grit, wit, and a good heart. But just how healthy is that heart? You know you're made up of all the places you've called home. You know you're made of your mom's sarcasm. And now you can find out if you have her thyroid too. You know you're made of college all-nighters and 30s early-nighters, but those still don't explain your sleep issues. You know that you're made up of good meals with even better conversation. But are you actually absorbing those nutrients? A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Welcome back to the show. Tigers and the Guardians 1-1 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Tigers lead the best of three by 1-0 after winning yesterday. And the Guardians are a team, runner on third base, nobody out in the ninth inning to tie. They couldn't get the run in. So baseball's a frustrating game. Guys, seen a lot of baseball. seen a lot of things, a lot of sports. That's the great Mike Lupica from the New York Daily News, MLB.com, best-selling author, and he joins us now. Michael, how you doing?
Michael, I know Yankee fans don't feel this way, but that was a great postseason baseball game last night. It had so much to it. It shows you why baseball is wonderful. You feel like everything can happen in a 3-1 game. And what we're going to find out tonight, and the Yankees historically under Boone, once they've gone down, they've gotten back up a few times, but it's been unusual. If the bottom of the ninth last night was this year's version of Freddie Freeman's home run.
Yeah, the bottom of the ninth, I mean, it's almost inconceivable. Well, I should say it is inconceivable. Previous to that, it had never happened before. Bottom of the ninth inning, bases loaded, nobody out. No team had ever not scored, if that makes sense. So that was a rough one to digest if you're a Yankee fan, Mike.
Yeah, my pal Mike Barnacle, you see him on Morning Joe, and he's a Boston guy. He's a big Red Sox fan. He has always had this theory, and it was, unfortunately for the Yankees, it was proven out at the end last night, and it doesn't always statistically stand up. If you have the bases loaded and nobody out in a game and you don't score at any point, you're going to lose. It doesn't always work out that way, but, Michael, it seems like it does an awful lot of the time. And with all of the bad October history, good and bad, by the way, Aroldis Chapman has had when he was with the Yankees, you're thinking, okay, all the old gremlins have come back, and then he stood up there and he struck out Stanton and got out, and then he struck out Grisham. It was, for a closer, that was an astonishing performance last night.
And if the Yankees get a hit there and they come back, they score 3 runs and they win the game, everything else before it is just, wiped away. But you don't wipe away the fact, Mike, I wonder your take on taking out Fried with 1 out in the 7th inning when he's just at 102 pitches. And it's not as if you're going to Rivera. You're going to a Luke Weaver who is not the same as 2024 Luke Weaver.
No, Michael, to me, there's so many elements to that decision. And my first guess was they were making a mistake. And it became a mistake because of the way Weaver pitched. I watched you on the postgame show. Aaron Boone always takes the fall for these decisions. I believe this was all mapped out before. I think he does what he's told. I don't think it was his call to sit down Chisholm. None of it, okay? But the one narrative that I will dispute about last night is, as well as Fried has pitched, he wasn't pitching as well at that point in the game as Crochet was. The idea afterwards was, well, this is the same thing. Their ace stayed out and our ace stayed. Yes, it's true, but Crochet had done nothing to indicate that he was getting weaker. And Fried, even though he still had the numbers on his side, hadn't been the same guy. So, listen, I would have left him in the game. It's wrong because of the way it turned out. But you always talk about the fallacy of the predetermined outcome. It's the beauty of baseball. You just talked about Ramirez not scoring from third base for the Guardians. Nobody out in the bottom of the ninth. These games are so fragile. When you were talking about if somebody had gotten a hit in the bottom of the ninth, everything changes. We've done so much second guessing about the Ryder Cup in the past few days. But if Russell Henley had made a couple of more putts at the end against Shane Lowry, they might have come all the way back, except he didn't. The wisdom always goes back to Dreamer Tatum and Dan Jenkins's great football novel, Semi-Tough. What could have happened did. Mm-hmm. And now the Yankees are up against it. And I try to not just entertain, Michael, but educate as well. I do that on Wednesdays.
I feel it.
Okay. Well, this is not me. This is my buddy Pete. Okay. The Yankees are in their 11th playoff series under Aaron Boone. They are 5-5 in the other 10. All 5 of the series wins have come against AL Central teams: Guardians, Royals, Twins. The 5 series losses have come against the Astros a couple times, Rays, Red Sox, Dodgers. In those 10 series, the Yankees fell behind by at least 1 game 6 times. And 3 times they did rally to tie the series, and 1 time they came all the way back. What I'm saying is there has been an element to this team that when it goes down, it never gets all the way back up. And You know the math on losing the first game. I mean, it's a small sampling, obviously, of one of these 2 out of 3 wild card series. But we're going to find out today if they can take the – and, Mike, it's odd. You say, can they take the punch that they got last night? They hit themselves last night. Mm-hmm. That was a self-inflicted wound that they couldn't put one ball in play in the bottom of the ninth. And as a Yankee fan pal of mine said, you know what the real problem with this series? The Yankees shouldn't even be playing this week. If they hadn't screwed around for so much of the summer, they would have gotten the bye.
Yeah, that's why it makes me laugh when people go, I'd rather have you playing the wild card because you stay fresh. No. You get to win a series without playing if you win your division. There's no other choice.
Yeah, the chickens have come home to roost on that one, and now we have to see if Rodon, who they paid big change to a few years ago, can go out and win one of those games, even though he hasn't pitched well against the Red Sox, and if the Red Sox kid can go out and do it the way he's done to the Yankees in the regular season, in the postseason. This thing is so rich in drama, and not just because of the rivalry, and not just because of what the Red Sox have been doing to the Yankees in the playoffs for a long time. But this moment tonight is one of those great moments for the New York Yankees, because I'm not sure Aaron Boone can survive not even getting to the second round. And if he doesn't survive getting to the second round, Michael, then the general manager loses his cover because Boone takes so much of the heat from Yankee fans.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if he got fired, it would be the height of hypocrisy. I mean, he's working collaboratively with the front office, so whatever they're sending him is not working. It's not him.
No, they have exactly the manager they want. I don't think there's anything. I loved you talking about the script last night, because Yankee fans have to understand how things work on 161st Street. But, listen, in 2018, the Yankees come back against the Red Sox 1 game all in that series. And I remember writing at the time, Michael, that I felt like the Yankees were winning the series 1 game all. And then they lose Game 3, 16-1. They play a life-and-death game, and they lose. And then they play a wild card game a few years ago with Garrett Cole on the mound at Fenway Park, and he didn't even make it through the third inning last night. The Yankees got to get up tonight. The Yankees have talked all year about how resilient they are, but now they've got to show it against a team who's not the Twins or the Orioles or the White Sox or all those losing teams they fattened up in September.
All right, so we have not had a chance to talk to you since the Mets season ended on Sunday. What's your postmortem on that?
The new general manager, the guy who Steve Cohen acted like invented baseball, David Stearns, did an incredibly poor job as the head of baseball operations, and didn't have it. Everybody gets injuries, Michael. So I don't want to hear about the injuries to the starting rotation. He thought he could win by buying cheap on the starting rotation. And I wrote this a couple of weeks ago. You buy cheap, you get cheap. That he took a team that was 2 victories away from going to the World Series and then authored this kind of slow-motion train wreck over like 90 games at the end of the season. I love the fact that he said it wasn't Mendoza's fault. It wasn't Mendoza's fault. I'm not saying he did a perfect job, but this is on Stearns, and he's got a lot of work to do. And here's a pro tip for the guy running baseball operations for the New York Mets: when you're analyzing this kind of collapse, and in the face of this kind of anger from Mets fans, don't use words like holistically to describe what happened. Because, Michael, when I saw that word, I'm saying, hey, Dave, who are you talking to here?
Talking to other GMs.
Yeah.
And he has this he doesn't feel comfortable going after, pitchers in their 30s for long-term contracts. Let me ask you this, Mike. If they went after Max Fried, would they be playing today?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, look at the way. I think Garrett Cole, by the way, was over 30 last year. Even on the night when the Yankees lost the series, when he pitches, he was out there pitching his lungs out. and on and on and on. He was going to get by with Clay Holmes, who can't make it to the sixth inning, and Frankie Montas. And who in their right mind could have thought that they were going to get something big out of Senga this year after what we've seen from him lately? And so this was baseball malpractice. And I keep hearing about this pitching lab they've got. I don't know if I had something wrong with like my arm or my shoulder, if I'd go to that one.
Now, before I let you go, I come to you because you know golf better than anybody that I personally know. Now, I enjoy watching golf in big moments.
Uh-huh.
What went wrong at the Ryder Cup, and why did golf, the association, hire an MC to start a Bleep You Rory chant? Well, why did they think that was necessary at Bethpage Black?
No, the whole idea in the run up to this, I saw these television specials. We need them to get crazy. Colin Morikawa said we need chaos. And Mike, anybody who is nice enough to still read my Sunday column, I went on for 2 weeks about this. Don't turn this into Stupidville, okay? Don't give the American crowds and New York crowds a black eye. And that is exactly what they did. Nobody would suggest that with 50,000 people on the ground, all 50,000 were acting that way. No one has suggested that. But this level of slapnuts, talking the way they did to Rory McIlroy and to his wife, and tossing beer cans in their direction. I talked about this on Morning Joe yesterday. This was Bethpage Black Eye for this event. Now, just for the golf though, if somebody had told you on Friday morning, Michael, that Scotty Scheffler was going to be 0-4 going into the singles matches on Sunday, you would have said, you know what? We're going to lose.
Right.
We're going to lose. We're just not as good at that alternate shot format. And there is a magic to this European team. Mike, they got a bunch of ballers. And I'm not saying that we don't. And we saw them fight. And it's like I said to you a few minutes ago, for all the second guessing of Keegan Bradley and this and the course setup, if Russell Henley hadn't left a couple of putts short at the very end, they might have pulled this thing off. So everything that could have gone wrong for 2 days did. And then even on a football Sunday, on the last day of the regular season of baseball, when it looked like the U.S. might have a chance to come back from 11.5 to 4.5, Mike, for about 3 hours, it was like time stopped. And they came, I was quoting Vin Scully to friends of mine. I said, the improbable is slowly becoming possible.
Right.
And they nearly pulled it off, but we should be talking about that. We should be talking about Cameron Young and the local kid. What a great kid he is. But we're going to talk about the crowd from now until the next Ryder Cup, and that is a shame.
Oh, so here's what I don't understand, because I don't really know this that well. Why was it encouraged there at the Ryder Cup, but it's not encouraged at other golf matches?
Because it has become not only a patriot. No, it's not only become a patriotic pep rally.
Mm-hmm.
In by the way, in Europe and here, okay. But Mike, you know this. Over time, we have done everything possible in the media to convince the crowd that it is part of the action. No, it's not. The crowds are allowed to cheer their heads off. Okay, they're allowed to try to lift the home team. But they're not all this 12th man crap. No, they're not that, okay? And so somehow there was this idea that the crowd, a rowdy American crowd, was not only going to pull our guys across the finish line, but it was going to intimidate the other side. And I tweeted this out, I think, on Saturday afternoon. All the stuff they directed at Rory McIlroy, how did it work out for them?
Yeah.
How did it work out for them? And I know that he shouldn't have turned around and bit by using a vulgarity himself, but for him to then turn around and stiff it 2 feet, that was a pretty cool sports moment.
Well, enjoy the game tonight, Mike. Thanks so much for coming on as always.
It's too stressful. These games are too stressful, Michael. How do you do it all year long?
Well, you know what? I handle it beautifully, I think.
Okay, baby. Goodbye.
Take it easy. That's Mike Lupica. When we come back, we'll talk about tonight's game. It's Carlos Rodon against Brian Bayo. The Yankees must win to keep their season alive. It's the K Show right here on ESPN New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Jets football once again returns to MetLife Stadium. See your New York Jets face off against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, October 5th at 1 p.m., presented by Atlantic Health System.
Play action, bootleg out to the right, Justin Fields, and he will trot into the end zone with a misdirection touchdown.
Get your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. Once again, that's nyjets.com/tickets.
Listen up, New York. It's football season, and you should be out there enjoying every play, every tailgate, every moment. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. That's where Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain comes in. He's one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and dedicated to getting you back in the game. Here's the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided procedures that get real results. Dr. Shaw treats everything from neck pain, back pain, migraines, nerve pain, and chronic joint pain. And he builds a custom game plan that's right for you. Same day or next day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. And yes, most major insurances are accepted. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Go to SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Okay, girls, ready to go?
Yeah! Mom, I'm hungry. Can I have a snack? Me too, Mommy.
You want a snack?
Yeah.
Got it?
Children learn from our behaviors.
Mommy, can you open this,
All right,
please?
hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay, here.
Thank you.
They learn what is okay from the adults they see.
Mommy, are you on your phone?
If you're a distracted driver, chances are they will be too. What kind of driver are you raising? Funded by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
All right, 6 o'clock tonight, Yankees and the Red Sox game 2 of their best of 3. Yankees have their lineup out. The Red Sox do not at this point. We know it's Bayo against Rodon. Bayo 11-9, 3.35. Rodon 18-9, 3.09 with 203 strikeouts. The Yankees will send this lineup out against Bayo. Grisham in center field leads off. Judge in right. Bellinger in left. So your outfield goes 1, 2, 3 in the order. Cleaning up first baseman Ben Rice. Giancarlo Stanton will DH. He's going to bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing second base, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Austin Wells behind the plate, bats seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Anthony Volpe. And the number 9 hitter in the Yankee lineup is the third baseman, Ryan McMahon. So that is the Yankee lineup today. We are waiting on the Red Sox starting lineup. In the other game going on right now, end of 5 innings, the Tigers and the Guardians 1-1. The Tigers lead the best of 3 series, 1 game to nothing with their victory last night. So how did the Yankees do it? Put some runs on the board against Bayo. You've got Rodon. Rodon should pitch the way Rodon pitches. He's got a number of pitches that he can go to. He has controlled his emotions much better this year than he had in previous years. He's got a level head about him. And if he pitches the way he pitched during the regular season, they'll be fine. And I think they could score a couple of runs against Bayo. Bayo's a good pitcher. He's not Crochet. And with all the second guessing that we've done in taking out Fried, and I will stand firm, that was a mistake. Especially, as I said at the start of the show, I went into the post game ready to defend Boone because you just don't push somebody past where they can't go. But you took him out. Again, I think that's the wrong decision. A lot of blame has to go to Luke Weaver. I mean, you got to be better than that. You can't walk a guy who's unwalkable. You can't. Then you can't give up a base hit on a bad pitch to Yoshida. First pitch. Right there, right in his eyes. They jumped on him right away. So Weaver faced 3 batters, didn't get any of them. That's the ball game right there. So I think the absurdity of lifting Fried when you did kind of takes a lot of the heat away from Weaver just not doing his job. Just didn't do his job. And the composition of the lineup that the Yankees had yesterday almost ensured that Ben Rice was not going to come to the plate. One of your best hitters in September. I'll tell you why. Because if everything went according to Hoyle for the Red Sox, Garrett Crochet was going to hand it off to Chapman. There was never an opportunity to take a left-hander off the bench to pinch hit because they were not going to a right-hander. And by putting in Jazz for defense, which I don't understand because you knew you were going to face Chapman in the 9th inning, you have Jazz coming up against Chapman when you didn't think Jazz was worthy of being in the lineup against Crochet. You had Jazz coming up, bases loaded, 1 out in the 9th inning, and he hit a shallow fly ball. So you took 2 of your best hitters out, and you knew that the only way that they were going to get a sniff of play was against a really deadly left-hander. That's why that lineup composition deserves to be criticized. And this is not second-guessing. We criticized it on the pregame show on Yes. That pregame show, again, today starts at 5 o'clock. And then we'll have postgame coverage immediately following the final pitch on ESPN. So we'll have 90 minutes after that. But we criticized it before time. I did not understand benching Jazz. I didn't get it. You don't bench an everyday player. You can bench Ryan McMahon because he hasn't hit enough to be ticked off to not be in the lineup. You do not bench a 31-31 guy. You don't. This guy is built for the big stage. Absolutely built for the big stage, and you didn't use him. And you saw with his post-game antics how unhappy he was. Maybe he sticks it to everybody today and has an unbelievable game and shows them, you know what? You were wrong. Now, I do ask you one question. Let's say the Yankees win the series. Let's say they win today and they win tomorrow. And let's say the Tigers end up beating the Guardians. And then they beat the Mariners. And then you face the Guardians in the ALCS if you're the Yankees. You running that same right-handed lineup out against Tarek Skubal, or did you learn your lesson? They're stubborn. I'm telling you, they're stubborn. They might run that very, very same lineup out again. Top of the 6th inning, 1-1, Tigers, Guardians. Don Hahn and Rosenberg coming up. We'll be back again tomorrow at 1, either with a postmortem or previewing Game 3. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy the game. Don Hahn and Rosenberg next.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most